You know this smell? An old library, a used bookstore. That one book that has been sitting on your grandparents' shelf since roughly the invention of electricity. You open it, and there it is. Warm, sweet, a little dusty, and weirdly wonderful. And here is the strange part. You like it so much you take a second sniff you did not even need. But what are you actually smelling? Because technically, you are smelling the book slowly falling apart. Well, that got dark quickly. Let's be honest about how universal this is. People do not sniff their tax documents. But an old book, we bury our faces right in it. It is such a specific smell that it feels almost like a place, quiet libraries, wooden shelves, and rainy afternoons. So, what is really going on when you breathe it in? To answer that, you have to know what a book actually is, and it is not quite what you think. A book feels permanent, solid, and finished, like it will sit on that shelf forever exactly as it is. Chemically, that is a lie, because a book is really a slow reaction wearing a nice cover. Paper is mostly one thing, a material called cellulose, the tough fiber that makes up plants, long, strong chains of it, all woven together. And cheaper paper, the kind used for most books over the last 200 years, carries a second ingredient too, lignin, the stuff that makes wood stiff and woody. Hold on to those two words, cellulose and lignin, because everything you are about to smell comes from what happens to them next. Here is the uncomfortable truth. From the day it is printed, a book is already breaking down. Heat, oxygen, moisture, light, and plain old time all work on it, slowly snapping those long molecules into smaller pieces. That is why old paper goes yellow and brittle. It is not dirty, it is chemically aging right there on the shelf. And when those big molecules break apart, some of the little fragments are light enough to float away, drifting off the page and into the air as invisible gases. Those escaping gases have a name, volatile compounds, and that faint cloud rising off an old book is the smell. Now for the good part. That smell is not one single thing. It is a whole bouquet of different broken off molecules, each with its own note. One of them smells sweet and almost like almonds. Another is soft and sweet. Another is faintly smoky. And underneath it all sits that classic musty base. Scientists have actually pinned this down. Researchers at University College London analyzed the air around old books and described the smell as grassy notes with a hint of vanilla over an underlying mustiness. And that vanilla note is the best part, because it comes from a molecule called vanillin, the same one that gives vanilla its flavor. And where does that come from? It comes straight from the lignin. As the lignin in the paper breaks down, it releases that vanilla molecule, so the book is literally decaying into the smell of vanilla. So the coziest part of that smell, the warm, sweet note you love, is really a book quietly turning itself into dessert. But here is a question that should bother you. If that is old book smell, then why does a brand new book smell completely different? Crack open a fresh paperback and you get something sharper, cleaner, and a little chemical. That is because a new book is an entirely different chemistry set. Fresh glue in the spine, solvents in the ink, coatings on the glossy paper, and leftovers from bleaching the pages white. None of that is decay. It is the smell of brand new materials still off-gassing for the very first time. So new book smell and old book smell are not the same smell at different ages. They are two completely different chemical events. One is a book being born, the other is a book slowly dying. And this is where it stops being a fun fact and gets genuinely clever. Because the smell changes as the book decays, the smell is basically a status report. A fragile old book is quietly announcing its own condition, in the air around it, all the time. Conservators figured out that they can use this. By carefully analyzing the compounds coming off a rare book, they can tell how damaged the paper is, how acidic it is, and how far gone it is, without cutting off a single piece to test it. Think about that. Because for a priceless, crumbling manuscript, you really do not want to damage it just to study it. But you can, in a sense, simply smell it. And the scent becomes a non-destructive window into its health. Researchers have even started cataloging and archiving historic smells, so that one day, long after these books are gone, we will still have a record of exactly what they smelled like. So the next time you open an old book and take that completely unnecessary second sniff, remember what is actually happening. You are not just smelling dust. You are smelling chemistry and history and a tiny bit of that book disappearing into the air, one molecule at a time. Which means old books do not just contain history, they smell like it. Thanks for watching Brainstorm, Bob. If this made you think, hit subscribe for more curiosity, ideas, and real answers. See you in the next one.